Alright. For the next 5 minutes, we are going back in time. And yes, I was cheesy and made my entire slam rhyme, like my edgy first-year university spoken word vibes. And we're gonna party, like it's July 1969. See, I'm here to discuss a common misunderstanding about the folks who brought us the good old moon landing. There's a Saturn V-sized myth that I think is quite rude, and it's that it was all devised by a bunch of white dudes. Now, this isn't to dismiss the first two guys, Armstrong and Aldrin, who peeped the moon with their eyes, and Michael Collins left piloting alone in the sky, the world's loneliest person, a title I thought was mine. No, we must salute them. That's only fair. But we also got to give credit to the ladies who got them there. Now let's first think about chasing their path, which would take an unholy hell amount of math, a task no one can manage except maybe one, the brilliant and cunning Katherine Johnson. The first to calculate the American's orbiter, she worked at NASA as a human computer. She became known as such a number-crunching badass that John Glenn refused to launch until she checked the math. Using Euclid's method and equation skills no one had seen, she calculated the course for Americans' moon-age daydream. Side note, the next time someone says a little too hastily that women don't belong in today's tech industry, remind them that computers used to be literally rooms full of women doing math on the daily. Now, just like there wasn't any glory in crunching NASA's numbers, a lot of ladies became the first programmers of the electronic computers when they hit the scene, and the Apollo 11's in-flight software was built by a team led by Margaret Hamilton, a glorious nerd who gave herself a title that no one had heard. "I'm a software engineer," were the words that she spoke, and the men around her just thought it was a joke. But that mission was built on this boss's code. And when the capsule's computers started to overload and they were trying to land on the surface at last on the dark side of the moon and time for communication had passed, Hamilton's software knew to clear all tasks, which ended up saving everyone's ass. So last week at work, this guy came up to me and said, "Why hasn't there been any women in astronomy?" He asked the question with this weird kind of grin, like he felt I didn't belong in the planetarium I stood in. Now, he picked the wrong geek to cross that day, but thankfully one who would soon set him straight, one who has written entire shows about women in science. And I said, "Sir, there's this thing called Google, and I think you should try it. You should look up Carolyn Herschel, Maria Mitchell, and Beatrice Tinsley, Agnes Clark, Vera Rubin, and Dorothea Klumpke, Mary Somerville, Nancy Roman, and Cecilia Payne-Pushkin. But don't just Henrietta leave it there, my friend. Look up Jill Tarter, Jocelyn Bell Burnell, and Katie frickin' Bowman. Dude, we gave you the comets, orbiting telescopes, the co-discovery of pulsars, the period luminosity relationship, the main contents of stars. Hypatia of Alexandria has a legacy 1,600 years old. Hell, we brought you the first damn picture of a black hole. Women have been space racing since the start of its time. A woman went into orbit before an American would ride. A lesbian may have committed the first ever space crime. What? And McLean, look it up. That shit's wild. I said, "Space neuroscience, sir, is the topic of my thesis." And he just said, "Huh, really? You don't look like a scientist." But for the space race greats to the discoveries of today, with my cheesy slam poem, I wanted to say, so their memories don't redshift and just fade away. The women of space have always been here, and we're here to stay.
Woo!